are many short people in the world, and if you didn't know, there are entire dwarf families. They live just like everyone else. But if you're curious and you want to learn more about them, you're at the right place, as we look at the world's most incredible dwarf families and others.
This is my eldest son, my second son, this is my daughter.
Number 14. Bill Klein and Jen Arnold are your typical couple, with the exception that they are both under 4 feet tall. He stands 4 feet tall and has undergone more than 20 surgeries due to a rare kind of bone dysplasia known as Spondyloepiphyseal Dysplasia. She's just 3 feet 2 inches tall, has Spondyloepiphyseal Dysplasia type Strudwick, and has undergone more than 30 operations. But that's not what sets this couple apart. The little couple follows them as they experience all of life's ups and downs with their adopted children, Will and Zoe. They have a normal life like everybody else, except there are obviously some small adjustments they need to make along the way. Number 13. People of modest size in Manila, the Philippines' capital, want to create a new village of compact houses on a greenfield location. It's a strange concept, but they're serious about it and motivated to succeed. The Hobbit House is one of Manila's most well-known bars, inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien's work. The walls are covered in Lord of the Rings pictures, and you enter through a round wooden door as if you were visiting Bilbo Baggins. The illusion continues with the waiters, who are all under 4 feet tall. The Hobbit House is unique in that they exclusively hire small people. While some may dispute its political correctness, the reality is that working at the Hobbit House is unquestionably one of the best jobs available to the staff. The Philippines offers little, if any, government assistance, and many jobs have height restrictions, making an already competitive market even more difficult. The waiters claim that most of their acquaintances work in the entertainment sector, as boxers, bit part performers, or even human cannonballs. One said his pal got paid half as much as other employees simply because he was short. Unsurprisingly, the people of Manila want more, and they're preparing to get it. They founded the Little People's Housing Association of the Philippines, which meet most Saturday mornings in a dilapidated workshop at the rear of the president's flat, Peri-Beri. The most pressing item on their agenda is a daring proposal. The entire group should leave Manila and establish their own village. A wealthy benefactor has donated a 1.5-acre plot of underdeveloped land near the town of Montalban, and it is there that they plan to build Dwarf City. Mr. Berry has a definite idea of how he wants the neighborhood to look. Their plan is to build structures that are scaled to their size and depict specific themes with the intention of generating at least some revenue from tourism. They spoke about not being judged and being able to let their children run around outside to get some fresh air. The small people of Manila don't want this new dwarf city to be limited to the association's present 47 members. They envisage a much larger settlement. Mr. Berry is seeking outside financing for part of the construction work, and the government has indicated it is willing to assist. Mr. Berry is adamant about realizing his dream, no matter what it takes. People will eventually understand that despite their little size, they want to think big. Number 12. A father and his 4 children make up the remarkable family that has astonished the world. The entire family members are dwarfs, with the exception of the mother, who is of average height, and they are a happy family. You'll be shocked to learn that despite their heights, they're content with their lives. They make a living by farming and raising cows. The kids also play a lot of sports, and one of their favorites is football. The father is proud of his family and enjoys telling stories about how he met his wife. He loves to show his kids photos from their wedding. This family has demonstrated that physical appearance and wealth are irrelevant when 2 people love each other. According to the pair, love, trust, and care are the most vital factors for a great marriage. They want to raise money to start their own company so all their children can work for the company. Number 11. The ideal parents for a small family, Dan and Michelle Hamill met by coincidence at a Little People of America event in New Jersey in 2004. The non-profit group provides support and information to people of short height and their families. Even though the two became close friends, Dan admitted that romance did not blossom right away. They became buddies at first because she is from Maryland and he is from Canada. They had mutual acquaintances, so they hung out a lot and dated other people for a couple of years before starting to date, and the rest is history. Engagement, marriage, and children are all things that people look forward to. 3 years after their first meeting, the couple married. Our Little Family was supposed to be about Dan Hamill's carpentry at first. Dan Hamill would have been the solitary star of an entertainment series, focusing on his furniture, cabinetry, and woodwork if everything had gone according to plan, rather than appearing in a show with his wife and kids. When the proposal for the TLC show evolved from just Dan Hamill to include the entire family, he and his wife Michelle Hamill gave it some serious thought, and had some doubts naturally. The ability to share all parts of their lives, not only their statures, was the determining element in their decision to join Our Little Family. Meanwhile, the Hamill kids rapidly became accustomed to having a camera in their home. When Dan and Michelle Hamill agreed to open their lives for Our Little Family, they knew it would only work if they went all in, frankly revealing their lives with truth and honesty to give viewers a realistic representation of their day-to-day problems and accomplishments. So the more awareness they can bring to small people, the better. But all they want is for others to believe they're fascinating and entertaining, and that watching them is worthwhile. While most reality TV stars are active on social media, the stars of Our Little Family were not among them. They both conceded, though, that once the show started, they would become a little more active on social media. For the entire family, the show was a fantastic experience. Number 10. Since its premiere in 2015, the TLC reality show 7 Little JOHNSTONS has enthralled audiences all around the world. The show centers on a family of 7 known as the real-life 7 Dwarfs. The Johnston family, mother Amber, father Trent, and children Jonah, Elizabeth, Anna, Alex, and Emma all have achondroplasia, a kind of dwarfism that affects the extremities and causes the limbs to be smaller than typical. Trent is 4 foot 3 inches tall, and Amber is 4 feet tall. The Johnstons demonstrate in every episode of their show that people with achondroplasia are just like everyone else, rather than allowing their condition to keep them from having beautiful and full lives. Their narrative is not only inspirational, but also refreshingly ordinary. Aside from the fact that a lot of their ups and downs are captured on video, the family is exactly like any other family. Even if you've watched every episode of 7 Little JOHNSTONS, there's still a lot you don't know about this extraordinary family. Some relationships appear to have been written in the stars. Amber and Trent have a long history together and have stayed together through good times and bad. When they met during a Little People of America conference, Amber was still in high school. Trent was her first boyfriend. They quickly became close friends and decided to marry. They kept their love going long distance for 2.5 years until Amber went to college and relocated closer to Trent. They've been together for over 20 years and work hard to keep their amazing love intact. Trent and Amber's resolve to be self-sufficient is part of what makes them such a likable couple, as well as what makes 7 Little JOHNSTONS such a riveting TV show. At the end of the day, Amber and Trent just want their children to be able to cope in the world and overcome any challenges they may face. Pregnancy is a stressful period for anyone, but it was especially dangerous for Amber. Jonah and Elizabeth, her biological children, had to be delivered via C-section. Because of the difficult pregnancy, the Johnstons chose to expand their family through adoption. They feared the negative effects of a third pregnancy would have on Amber's body, so they chose not to put her through it again. They thought they would be able to realize their desire of having a large family while also helping children who were tiny people like them find a home, because they still wanted more children and knew that little people are frequently placed up for adoption. Being a star or appearing on a reality program causes others to get interested in your life and want to learn more about you. Many people believe they are experts on Amber and Trent's marriage since the Johnstons have been bringing the world into their house for years. Many fans have theorized the couple reached a snag at one point, and they aren't entirely wrong. They not only struck a home run with the kids, but they claim to be stronger than ever and that a divorce is not in their future. Number 9. An Indian family has described how they get teased on the street because 9 of their 11 relatives are dwarfs. The Chauhan family suffers from achondroplasia, a hereditary disorder that produces short-limbed dwarfism. They are Hyderabad's largest dwarf family, and when they're out in public, they're frequently teased. Ramraj works as a marriage welcomer, where he dresses up and greets visitors at weddings. But the family has had difficulty obtaining jobs. He was unable to get work because no one was willing to hire him. He's had a lot of challenges because people are curious about how he'll handle things. Ambika, his 27-year-old daughter, wants to work as an accountant, but is concerned her health would prevent her from finding a job. Other members of the family with low stature, such as Ramraj's siblings and sisters, have a tough time finding jobs as well. Ramraj claims it is still acceptable for the male members of the family, but it's more difficult for the female members of the family. 8 of his siblings out of his 7 sisters and 4 brothers have the same illness. Ramraj is concerned about his health as his legs have begun to deteriorate. This happened to his father and grandfather, both of whom had the disease. Later in life, when their shortened legs deteriorate, the family will suffer health issues. Legs grow feeble beyond a particular age. Even though people laugh at them and their condition makes it impossible for them to travel, get married and live a normal life, Ramraj and his family think God gave them this condition because they are unique. His father once claimed this was the Lord's dwarf incarnation. So many people have teased him and his family. But if someone is sad and laughs because they're looking at them, he thinks it's God's will that they will be the ones who make them laugh. Number 8. Primordial dwarfism is a collection of illnesses in which a person's growth is stunted during development or while in the womb. Primordial dwarfism causes persistent growth retardation in newborns, which is defined as the failure of the fetus to grow normally. For the past 100 years, dwarfism has been a part of this family. They've been together since the dawn of time. Their height and the way they laugh have made them renowned. Crowds will flock around them whenever they go out. They were born into a family of 13 children, and only these 3 were born with dwarfism. Their siblings were all born normal. You might be curious about how they go about their regular lives. They reside in a house that is so tough to get into or out of that it resembles a cave, and their stairs are extremely impossible for them to climb. They've been in a similar situation for more than 5 years. When questioned about how they came to live in such a house, they claim they offered money to someone to buy them a piece of land, but he stole the money and started his own business, which later failed. Hence, he chose to give them this house since it was the only thing he had left. They didn't want to get into a fight with him, so they just agreed and accepted the house. The 3 brothers accept themselves as they are and strive to make the best of each day. Number 7. 2 Indian brothers who were shunned by their classmates as ghost boys because of their thinning hair and sharp teeth have finally found acceptance in their isolated hamlet. Ashfaq and Mushtaq Khan, then 11 and 8 years old, used to hide behind walls in Madhya Pradesh village to avoid the taunts and looks of others. Residents fail to recognize the brave brothers as sufferers of hypohydrotic ectodermal dysplasia, a rare genetic illness that causes missing teeth and thinner hair. However, after the participation of a local NGO, which began as a public awareness campaign to help locals comprehend their situation, there's been a dramatic turnaround. The siblings have been accepted as members of the community, as seen by images of them playing with neighbors' children while being doused with water from a bucket to cool down. Another photograph shows the brothers smiling. Their pointed teeth are fine, scant hair visible. They appear to be leading a more normal existence, running around cheerfully in a public space while other villagers look on and grin. It's a far cry from the children's younger years, when villagers avoided them due to their appearance. 4 pointy teeth in the upper jaw, grey flocked hair, black noses, dark and damaged skin, and thin, reedy voices were all symptoms of the genetic condition. Bullying at school, on the other hand, has stopped the brothers from continuing their studies, especially after peers teased them for looking like ghosts. Their doctor, Mukesh, warned their health could worsen because the family lacked the financial means to pay for private treatment, and because they reside in a remote region in Madhya Pradesh with no specialized medical facilities. An organization that assists youngsters seeking treatment at Lucknow Sanjay Gandhi Postgraduate Institute of Medical Sciences may be able to assist the siblings, easing the discrimination they have encountered from townspeople who have branded them as ghost boys. Number 6. Zanziman Eli, a little youngster who lives with his mother in a jungle in Rwanda, East Africa, has acquired a home for her according to Afrimax TV. This comes after his mother spoke to Afrimax TV about him in an interview. He is deafeningly quiet, and Zanziman's mother said she knew her baby would stand out from the minute he was born because of his abnormally small head and facial characteristics. He's never attended school and is unable to speak or converse properly with other humans due to learning impairments. Unfortunately, he has spent his entire youth in his hamlet being ridiculed frequently, with people calling him a monkey or an ape, as well as calling other children with similar conditions insults. Zanziman's mother said in an interview that she had to find him every evening to bring him home because he spends the entire day running around in the bush for hours on end. Number 5. The Silver story is heartwarming. Aside from an unscrupulous manager who took advantage of the kids by signing them to a contract that guaranteed him 50% of the profits, the kids had a great time. Yes, I mentioned 50% of their earnings, but there was something lacking. The revelation that Olympia, the oldest sister, had been kidnapped, severely attacked, stabbed, and forced to flee out of a moving vehicle where she managed to run to safety during the group's early years should have been enough to make the story fascinating. Unfortunately, she was never the same after the incident, and she developed severe mental illness as a result. While struggling with her mental illness, she lived on the streets of Los Angeles and was battered and attacked multiple times. This bothers me because I'm worried about how mentally ill people are overlooked in the black community, as well as our inability to admit they even exist. The other terrible aspects are that brothers Ricky and Foster are currently in prison, both for parole violations, and both have had serious drug problems. Finally, in the early 1960s, after giving the mother 10 children, the father became acquainted with Ike Turner. Is there anything else I can say? He developed a drinking problem and abandoned his wife and 10 children in 1964, leaving her to raise the children on her own. She acknowledges that finding an apartment that could accommodate so many people at a reasonable price was hard, so they ended up living in Watts projects. Edmund, the main vocalist, died a few years ago. Number 4. Little Women LA is a reality television show about the lives of women who are dwarf. The sequel was first shown on the Lifetime channel. The plot revolves around a group of ladies who share the same physical characteristics. There are 8 seasons in total in the series. The show received a lot of great feedback since it's an inspirational and emotional series that represents a society where height is only a number and people learn to embrace their defects and enjoy life to the fullest. Number 3. Dwarfism affects Laura and Nathan Phillips in distinct ways. In 2014, the British couple welcomed their first child. Nathan Jr. was born as the UK's only dwarf double. This medical event indicates that he inherited both of his parents' dwarfism, which is an extremely rare occurrence. Despite the odds placed against him, Nathan Jr. has grown into a happy and healthy little child, earning the moniker Britain's shortest family. Laura and Nathan were expecting their second child not long after, but it was unclear whether he would be a dwarf double like his older brother. Jax was born in September 2018, but circumstances inside the delivery room took a terrifying turn. After Jax arrived, things were a little dicey. Jax was born very fatigued and unable to breathe on his own due to the anesthetic Laura received during labor. Jax's medical team had to resuscitate him before treating him for jaundice and infections. Thankfully, this lovely baby boy turned out to be a miraculous delivery. Doctors discovered he was born with just achondroplasia, indicating he is following in his mother's footsteps. Number 2. How quickly time flies! Whilst filming The Little Couple, Jen Arnold and her husband Bill Klein welcomed fans into their home and introduced us to their beloved children, William and Zoe. Viewers were astounded by how much the kids have changed since their adoption and reality TV debut in 2013, especially after seeing their ecstatic mother's new photographs. On March 10, the neonatologist who turned 47 talked about the amazing memories they've created while celebrating a momentous event. The TLC stars had the opportunity to meet Zoe shortly after William entered their lives, indicating they were always destined to be a family. Will was adopted from a Chinese orphanage by the couple. They received word from an orphanage in India shortly after that Zoe was ready to find her forever home. The lovebirds moved from Houston, Texas to St. Petersburg, Florida, at that time into a new home. Fortunately, their children are really excited and pleasant, and they seem to be excited about everything new. The Klein family has a bright future ahead of them. Number 1. Little Women Dallas is a spin-off of Little Women LA, and it explores similar themes. The show will unfortunately be cancelled. On the one hand, this show is a refreshing change of pace from the other reality television series featuring disabled individuals. It shows the interpersonal conflict between the 5 women, rather than being about how inspiring and beautiful they are for just living. This show is not just inspiration porn, as some of the handicapped community refer to it. There are a few single mothers, 2 women are getting married, while another recently divorced and is considering dating again. Reality television shows such as Little Women, Push Girls, and Little People Big World all fall into the category of allowing able-bodied viewers to observe the lives of the disabled through a safe lens in which they are not required to participate in the lives of the disabled, but can instead observe their story. Some of these stories were unbelievable, but the one that touched me the most was the Silvers. Which one was your favourite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's our look at the world's most incredible dwarf families and others. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.